What's up, people, and welcome back to Religion Camp. My name is Mark Gagnon, and thank you for joining me in my tent where every single week on Sundays, we explore the most interesting, fascinating, controversial stories from every religion from around the world from all time, and oh boy, do we have a doozy today, all right? Now, as always, this isn't possible without you and viewers like you. I like when PBS used to say that as a kid. But it isn't possible without you guys, for real. Thank you so much for supporting the show, for supporting History Camp, and for supporting, the main pod, Camp Gagnon, where we do all the interviews and other weird deep dives. But it's also not possible without my friend, Christos. How are you, pal?
Doing great.
All right, Christos. Guys, we are talking about something very interesting today. Now, as always, I'd like to preface this with a few things. One, I enjoy exploring religion and religious philosophy for a few reasons. One, I was raised religious. Two, I don't think you can understand a people without understanding the God that they worship, even if you are not a practicing religious person. Just by virtue of growing up in a culture that was imbued with religious ideology for thousands of years, you're going to have some of that in you. So I think in order to connect with, my fellow humans on this beautiful planet, one of the best ways, in my opinion, is to understand their religious philosophy. I was so ashamed growing up in my household, it was very Catholic. Up until I was like 15, 16, 17, didn't know anything about Islam, Hinduism, Mormonism, all these other people that I share this beautiful nation with. And this is my attempt to rectify all that. I want to understand what everyone believes, take the good parts from every book and, leave the stuff that doesn't apply to me behind. And today we're going into Hinduism. All right, this is a religious philosophy. I refrain from saying religion when it comes to Hinduism or Buddhism, but a philosophy or a way of life that I admire deeply, that I think is fascinating, but more so that I didn't grow up in. So if there's anything that I miss or mistake in here, please don't hesitate to correct me in the comments respectfully, okay? I'm doing my best here, okay? My pronunciation isn't great. I don't speak Hindi. I don't read Sanskrit. So a lot of this is for me, I'm going to be kind of working through this with y'all, okay? On top of that, shout out to all my Desis that are watching, all right? Wherever you are, whether you're in India, maybe you're an ABC. I think that's what they call them, or an ABCD. Have you heard that? This is kind of a slur, but it is sort of funny. An American-born confused Desi. This is what sometimes Indians will call like the Indian diaspora that lives in America. I'm just using it as like a cute little parlance. I think it's fun. There's also another one, an NRI, non-resident Indian. It's like another slur of these. There's a lot of, guys, come on, let's stop beating each other up, okay? Let's just come together for the common good, all right? And just pursue our dharma, right? Anyway, today we're talking about one of the most interesting intersections with religious philosophy, in my opinion, is the existence of other worlds, the existence of intelligent life out there in the cosmos, right? As a Christian, we don't really talk about aliens that much. And when we do, the conversation kind of deviates. It's really hard, Like, I think the Pope recently was like, if there's aliens, then they're good or something like that. Like, yeah, like there might be aliens. Like they just opened it up. Like after thousands of years of, Catholic teaching, they finally had a Pope that was like, yeah, maybe there's aliens. And then I asked a question one time. I was like, if, Christ died for all of our sins, did he die for the sins of the aliens? These are all questions that, theologians have kind of touched on, but I feel like they haven't really deep dived on. And what makes Hinduism interesting is that the Hindu understanding of cosmology and time is so vastly different from so many of the Abrahamic religions that they have a very interesting sort of compatibility with the idea of other worlds, if I do say so myself. So let's dive in, shall we? All right. In America, we got giant telescopes. We're building them all the time, trying to see the stars, seeing what's up there. Well, in ancient Hindu texts, like the Vedas, all sorts of different stories, they have been describing other worlds and other intelligent type beings for literally thousands of years. And these aren't your typical, like alien abduction stories, right? The Hindu ideas about other worlds and, life on other planets is way more complex and fascinating than almost anything. Like they need to be making movies about this all the time. Okay. So we are going to go through the Hindu philosophy and what Hinduism, as a philosophy, says about life beyond, our little solar system here that we call we're in the Milky Way. I think, right? That's our solar system, is the Milky Way, which is kind of a cute name. So beyond that, all right? So in order to understand this, you need to take out your Abrahamic brain, all right? If you were raised Christian, Muslim, Jewish, you got to try to remove that if you can and just kind of just rest for a second, okay? Because in Hinduism, you got to try to picture a universe that goes on forever, where time lasts for billions of years and is almost, there's almost a reality outside of reality, and reality has layers upon layers. And each floor of these layers contains different worlds that are weirder than anything that you can imagine. So way before scientists were even talking about parallel universes and the multiverse and UFOs, Hindus and Hindu teachers and gurus have been describing these cosmic worlds with, beings whose abilities, are borderline magical, supernatural, certainly. And, the old stories of, flying machines, stories of armies of, like monkey warriors and snake kings and stuff like that. What if this is the description of these other universes? Okay, we're going to get into all of this. So, what many Hindu teachers will describe, and when I say teacher, I'll interchange that with guru, at different times. But what they will describe is not just one universe, but countless universes. And each one had 14 different levels where different types of beings lived. And these levels are called locusts. And so think of them as like floors in a massive apartment building that is infinite. Okay, and each floor has different types of beings that live in each little section with their own special abilities. And at the bottom, you have the patalas. Now, underground worlds where there's a snake being known as the nagas, and there are other mysterious creatures that live there. Now, in the middle, you have the buloka, and that's Earth, okay? That's the human world. That's where we're chilling. And then above us, at the higher levels, are the, what's known as the Bhuvar Loka. Now, this is the space between Earth and the sun. This is where spirits live, and sages, and demigods, and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the Svar Loka. Now, this is heaven. This is where, gods or God, depending on, your understanding of Hinduism, that's where that exists. And then beyond that, there's even, more refined levels of existence. So here's where things get crazy. Every single one of these 14 worlds doesn't just exist once, they exist in countless universes at the same time. So Hindu writing will describe something known as the Ananta Koti Brahmandas, which literally translates to infinite millions of cosmic eggs. And each cosmic egg is an entire universe with its own 14 worlds, its own gods, its own living creatures, and even its own version of Earth. So to help you understand the scale, imagine if every grain of sand on every beach in the world represented a complete complex universe. Okay? Have I lost you yet? Well, I hope I haven't, because Hindus have been talking about this for a while. All right? Hindu Cosmology says that even that comparison doesn't actually come close to showing how many universes actually exist. It's a vision of reality so huge that, like modern science, computing, none of that can even really fathom it, okay? So time works on a scale that is also really difficult to wrap your head around. I'm going to try my best, okay? These are cycles inside of cycles. So one of them is the yugs. This is ages. You probably heard of the Kali Yuga, which is what people describe our timeline as right now. You have the kalpas, which is day and night cycles of Brahma. This is the creator god. And then you have Mahakalpas, and this is Brahma's entire lifetime, all right? So one day in Brahma's lifetime will last 4.32 billion years. That's one day. And that is about how old our solar system is. And his night is just as long. So his complete life stretches for 311 trillion years. And after that, the whole cosmic cycle begins over again from the beginning. Now, throughout all these cycles, three main forms of the divine, the Brahma, right? You have the creator, that is Brahma. You have Vishnu, the preserver, and then you have Shiva. This is the transformer or the destroyer, depending on how it's interpreted. And they keep everything in balance. So